This is Luke Rudowski of WeAreChange.org. I am here with Stuart Rhodes of OathKeepers.org, a very important organization that has military members and police officers who are upholding their oath to the U.S. Constitution. Now, Stuart was here for the shutdown, and Oath Keepers were here throwing barricades all over Washington, D.C. When they were shutting down the memorials from the vets here. And there's been a lot of misinformation. There's been a lot of propaganda. People say that this was a Tea Party, right-wing Republican protest. Was this really from your experiences, and why did you come down here?
No, it was all about the memorial here being open so that the World War II heroes can come back one last time on these honor flights and pay respects to their fallen brothers. That was all it's about. I could give a damn about Republican Party or Democratic Party. Our guys were here to make sure the memorial stayed open for the vets. And so in the first time it came down, in fact, it was the World War II veterans themselves who put them down. And I can't tell you if they were Republicans or Democrats, what color they are, it don't matter. Like we used to say back in the Army, you know, only color here is green. And when it came to these memorials and those barricades coming down, all that mattered is World War II vets wanted to get inside. Yeah. So they set the pace. They showed us how to do it. So if folks want to call anybody extreme, I guess they can call them extremists. Yeah. So because being a real American and do what's right apparently is now extreme. And then following their example, other veterans came. And on Sunday, our guys were here. There were politicians here that spoke. We didn't set that up. We could care less. Frankly, I don't think politicians should be involved. Or they're going to come down here, what they should just say is, hey, I'm not here to give a speech and grandstand. I'm here to support the veterans, so I'll stay in the audience. The only person who should be up on the stage would be another veteran. That's it, no politicians. That's how it should have been done. So the fact that Sarah Palin showed up and Cruz showed up, it's good that they did, because if they hadn't, they'd have been attacked for not coming down here. But they should have stayed in the audience, the vets, you know, keep the focus on the vets.
So just opening up of the memorials, that was the main issue. But there was also other underlining issues like medical benefits. What issues did you see here most prevalent?
Well, the big one was the arbitrary, like Alice in Wonderland absurdity of putting up a barricade outside of a stone and concrete outdoor memorial. We came here on an honor flight last year. There's no armed guards here. There's no ticket toll or booth you got to go through. You just walk on here 24/7. So what was the point in putting the memorials up, or the barricades, and then these prefabricated signs they had ready to go? It was a dog and pony show, and that goes squarely on Obama's shoulders. And but if it had been Bush that had done this, or some other Republican, I'd say the same thing about them. It's ridiculous to use the veterans here as a political toy and a tool to try to cause more pain and cause more disruption and say, oh, see, it's the fault of the opponents.
What was the significance of everyone being down here and these veterans being successful in actually tearing down the barricades and being able to walk in here? What was the significance of this moment?
Well, the big secret is a lot of those police officers are also veterans. And we talked to some. We came here again with Ren. Ren and I were trying to get down here for Sunday. We weren't able to come. But when we saw them put the barricades back up on Monday, he said, that's it. I want to make one more jump behind enemy lines, this time into D.C. And so we flew down here together. And when we got here, the first thing he did is he said, folks were walking around the barricades anyway because they're stupid, but they so offended him just having them there at all. He said, I can't stand this. And so we got together and went up there and took them across the street and removed them. And they were down most of the day. I think the reason why, right at the end when we were getting done putting the barricades across the street, police officers did show up. And they said, hey, we're veterans too. We understand why you're doing this. We just want you to know that, in all likelihood, we're not going to put them back up anytime soon. But if we try to put them back up again, are you going to take them back down again, or are you going to leave them up? And Ren said, I can't make any promises. Yeah. And the cop didn't say, well, if you do that, you're going to get. He didn't threaten Ren. He didn't threaten us at all. He just said, okay, he walked away. And they stayed down most of the day. So I think that's the big thing is it was so absurd that everyone realized how absurd it is. Anybody with a brain who's not a political hack realized how absurd this was, and that's why I think the police stood down and didn't try to arrest veterans. I mean, imagine the spectacle they'd have had if they'd have tried to arrest World War II vets.
To me, it showed the true power veterans in this country have. They weren't arrested. They weren't brutalized. It was a moment where the government was caught where they couldn't really do anything, and people were slowly taking back their memorials, taking back their public spaces. So it was just amazing. We're also here with Ren, who's an amazing individual, a World War II veteran. Ren, how has your experiences been here? What were you up to here in Washington, D.C.?
What was that up against?
How was your experience here, and what did you do here in Washington, D.C.?
Well, my experience yesterday, ever since I've been here, when I'm on these grounds, I have a different feeling within me. And when we took the barriers down and took them across the street and parked them over there, the police came back, but they didn't take the barriers that we carried across the street. They brought in new barriers and set them up. But they did say they had left both ends open so that people could get in. But why have a barrier across the street where people can't just walk freely? They had to come in. The opening was probably a foot and a half, 2 foot wide on each end of the barriers. And without them, and it did say closed, so the people had to walk over there to even realize they could come in, which some were doing. And they took them down last night, and we got people freely acting as we should in this country again, going in and out where they have the heart and desire to go, with no threat of arrest or anything else. We were under stress all day yesterday over these barriers. We didn't know what the reaction of the police would be, but we had to react, and we did.
How does it feel that the barricades are down right now? How does it feel to be here right now?
Fandamtastic. It is. It's thrilling to be here, free, and have the barriers gone, and have our country. This is open to the men and women that fought in World War II and after. They can come in freely and look around and see this memorial that's been set up for them, and not have to worry about police or anything else. Have their freedom.
Exactly. Very well said. Now, the shutdown has been averted. A lot of issues still aren't done. There's still so many other things to go after. What's next after the barricades went down? What do you hope happens, and what are you guys doing?
Well, I hope that this is kind of like a watershed moment where Americans realize that if you keep giving in and you keep submitting to arbitrary, nonsensical government, you're going to wind up destroying everything. All of these men, all those stars on the wall over there, are the dead of World War II. Every one of them died and fought to fight against fascism. And if we let the domestic enemies of the Constitution destroy our republic and turn our nation into exactly what they were fighting against, then everything that they went through will have been for nothing. And they'll curse our names, and our children will curse our names. So we have to stand up. And like Ren said earlier, you got to let go of fear. You know, you're going to die someday anyway. All that matters is whether your kids are free. And you got to be Americans. You don't have to do it with violence, but sometimes you got to fight. And so whatever it takes, we got to do it. We'll do it as peacefully as we can for as long as we can, but one thing we got to do is do it. It has to be done.
Very well said. Ren, what do you hope happens next?
I hope the government wakes up and realizes what they're doing to our country and start using some common sense in Congress and the laws they pass, that we might all remain free forever in this country. We will do what we have to do to keep it free. I can't say what that is, but whatever's necessary. Life is nothing if you're not free.
Very well said.
One thing I want to say on top of that is the first thing that should happen, all we would need is to purge out all the oath breakers from both parties. The American people have the power in their hands to do that right now. Just like they had the power in their hands to remove these barricades when they finally decided to do it, it got done. If you set aside partisan loyalty, put your country first, and act like real Americans instead of as Republicans and Democrats first, put your country first, we could sweep them all out of office and do this peacefully. But if they don't do that, if they don't throw the oath breakers out, especially the ones in their own political parties, then you're going to keep winding down the road of Nazi Germany or Stalinist Russia or Stasi East Germany is where we're going. And the veterans of this country will not have it. So it's not going to be a choice, well, we can just go ahead and slide into that when the sellout politicians will be able to sit back and enjoy the spoils. It's not going to go down like that. There's going to be a fight unless we root them out right now peacefully by kicking them out of office. And that means impeachment too. And not just of Obama, the whole damn rat nest up there.
Yep. Gentlemen, thank you so much for all your dedication and hard work. If you're a member of the military or even a police officer, check out oathkeepers.org. Thank you for watching. Or an EMT. Thank you so much for watching.